What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Ooh, I done reeled you in. Reel them in now. Reel them in, Rami. Come on now. Got them in now. Come on in. Come on in. I'm just gonna get some links together real quick and drop a few in the chat for you, and then we shall proceed with the proceed. You feel me? I hope you're doing all right out there. I know the title may have got a few people feeling away, but you know, it's all love. It's all love. Just take it easy. Take it easy. We gonna get there. You know what I mean? We gonna get there. Mm. Peace, 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 John Tyler. Peace, Mike L. Peace, peace, peace. Bam. We're gonna be reading from that there. We're gonna be reading also from that there. Bam. All right, we got the links together. We got the links together. Peace, 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 peace. Yan Rael. Peace, 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 peace. Oh, you know about it. You know about it. Luffy son in here. What's happening? Um, Peace. I'm Rami Salam Mel. I thank you for tapping in. Thank you for joining. We have an interesting. I know the title got you like, hold on. Wait a minute, Rami. What you talking about? The Moors are not a nation. But I thought you would. Wait a minute. We gonna get to it. We gonna get to it. We gotta relax. We gotta relax. Matter of fact, let me send this out. And if you disagree, if you feel some sort of way, you know, welcome that. I welcome that humbly. Humbly welcome any and all critiques on this. Just hear my perspective. Hear my perspective, and then, let's go from there. Moors are not a nation. Why would Rami say that? Why would Rami make a video like that? Well, as Moorish Americans to be exact, we should be studying the teachings of Noble Drew Ali, studying the words, studying his actions, to understand what is really going on, because Noble Drew Ali is a prophet, not because we worship this man, not because we think he is God, not because we have some blind faith in him, but we do understand, or you may or may not understand, that Noble Drew Ali is a universal prophet. So he was sent for all of humanity, but he was sent specifically for so-called black people, so-called African Americans, so-called Negroes, because we needed him the most, because we didn't even know who we were, or some of us. So understanding he's a prophet, that's why it's important to really listen to the words that he said. That being said, let's go to the words. This is from an excerpt from Noble Drew Ali. It's called Think This Over, You Moors. I'm gonna read this particular piece here. It says, actually, before I get there, just so we set the standard, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple, the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet, Drew Ali. Moorish Americans, we understand this, right? Chapter 47, line 12. These holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the United of the Moorish Science Temple of America. These laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Okay? I, Prophet Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways. So we understand Noble Drew Ali is not to be, he ain't just some dude you could be like, I mean, that sound good, I'm going to do my thing. He like really that one. You know what I mean? Knowing that, let's get to what he said over here. Think this over, you Moors. This is in Moorish literature. It says, some of you have slipped and slipped drastically. So you had better lace up your shoes before I get there. Everything, every business transaction or anything pertaining to finance is to be transacted in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America, or Noble Drew Ali. We Moors must maintain a grand treasurer, just as in the days of our forefathers. Then you are a nation. Until then, you are nothing. I'm going to read that last sentence over again so we can hear it clearly. Noble Drew Ali now. We Moors, okay, Moorish Americans, we Moors must, not we should, not it would be a good idea, not probably, we must maintain a grand treasurer, just as in the days of our forefathers. Then you are a nation. Until then, you are nothing. This is not what I said. This is not what Rami said. This is what Noble Drew Ali said. So now I ask you, for anyone that's seen the title and is like, oh, Rami tripping, I ask you this simple question. Where's the Grand Treasury? Who is the Grand Treasurer for the Moorish Science Temple of America? I got time. I got time today. Maybe you didn't hear me. I'm asking, as a Moorish man, as a black man, quote unquote black man, who is y'all treasurer? Who is the Grand Treasurer for the Moorish Science Temple of America? Does anybody know? The silence is deafening. But, one second. I want us to be super clear so it ain't no misunderstanding. Dictionary, Oxford American Dictionary. So people can't try to make it seem like they don't know what I'm talking about. What is a treasurer, Rami? That's a good question. What is a treasurer? Just so we're clear. Because he said Noble Drew Ali said we need to maintain a grand treasurer. So, I mean, before we even get to grand, let's just make sure we understand what a treasurer is. Treasurer, a person appointed to administer or manage the financial assets and liabilities of a society, company, local authority, or other body, like a nation, a body of people. But let's not stop there. Let's not stop there. It's the Oxford American. Administrative Functions Book. Forced by the executive rulers of the Adept Chamber, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, or the Moorish Science Temple of America. This is page 80 and 81. Officers appointed by the Grand Sheik. Well, first, before we get there, officers elected directly by the people, the Sultan, Grand Sheik, the chairman or chairwoman. So the Grand Sheik is elected by the people. Officers appointed by the Grand Sheik, chairman, assistant, Grand Sheik, chief, mufti, secretary, treasurer. And then on the right side here, page 81, number 7. Oh, no, number 8. See, I'm trying to do too much. The treasurer or accountant is the keeper of all finance. The treasurer is the keeper of all finance and responsible for the disbursements thereof, and is the assistant of the Grand Sheik or the Grand Sheikess. That's administrative functions, but I didn't want to stop there. Boom. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition. I should know that by now. Treasurer, page 1673. Treasurer, an officer of a public or private corporation, company, or government. I'm going to read that again. An officer of a public or private corporation, company, or government charged with the receipt, custody, and disbursement of its monies or funds. Just so we're clear, the duty and responsibility of the treasurer, the grand treasurer. Noble Drew Ali said we must maintain a grand treasurer. Why? They have the duties and responsibilities of the money, of the whole situation. So again, I come back to the question, who is the grand treasurer for the Moorish Science Temple of America? And while you're thinking on that, ask yourself this question. Are your Moorish leaders, your grand sheiks, these people that are, 20, 30, 40 years in the movement, are they speaking about the grand treasurer? What kind of money would the grand treasurer be dealing with, Rami? All of the businesses. Oh, the membership dues. Let me read this part here. This was in the beginning part of the Think This Over You Moors part. All sheiks, grand sheiks, must prepare for the prophet before he comes to visit them. Must see to it that it's clean and in perfection. All members should pay from 25 cents to 50 cents weekly towards the emergency fund. This fund will increase so that it will soon amount to the grand sum of $1,000. That is, if you are loyal Moors. The emergency fund goes into the bank. The treasurer will tend to the responsibility of seeing that money is in the bank, yes, and under the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America Finance, and when needed, act according to the law pertaining to the procedure of performing an emergency act. So, for example, when COVID-19 hit and there was an emergency, and some of our people, some of our sisters and brothers' families was out of work, needed food, needed funds to pay some bills to keep the lights on. That would be what I feel is an emergency. And if our temples were properly established and running according to the way Noble Drew Ali established things, there should be an emergency fund that the treasurer would have been able to disperse the funds. And we wouldn't have had to necessarily wait on the government to kick us the little check 3 months or 5 months or whatever it took. This is just one example. The other part that I wanted to read for you guys. Another thing that the Grand Treasurer may be involved with is taxes, temple taxes. And this is bringing it all around for you, okay? This is bringing it all around for you. This is the next one, the next excerpt. Temple tax necessary. And this is from Noble Drew Ali again. Not me, not Rami, okay? This is Noble Drew Ali's words. Don't get it confused. This ain't what I'm saying. This is just what I'm just reading information by order of the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Because of the fact that the expense of the operation of the temple is increasing so fast that it was found necessary to vote a tax to the Prophet to carry on the work. This idea was concurred with by the Supreme Grand Council. So this idea of taxes was conferred with, from Noble Drew Ali, for the entire Moorish Science Temple of America, was conferred with the Supreme Grand Council. Now you may or may not know, I've been speaking on this same Supreme Grand Council and the lack thereof for the past 3-4 years now. And I've been asking humbly all of the Grand Sheiks, all of the officials, all the Moorish leaders, all the Moorish scholars, all the Moorish elders, anybody that's teaching Moorish science, saying that they are following Noble Drew Ali, that we need to address this issue of the Supreme Grand Council, because it is the central issue to why our movement is stagnant and why our people are still suffering. Let me continue. This act is so arranged that it will not be a burden to any of the temples, but the Prophet is very emphatic that it shall not be ignored. So this temple tax that's supposed to be paid and was voted on unanimously was to be paid monthly, and it shall not be ignored. But let me just give you the tax. This tax is 25 cents per month. That's it. 25 cents per month. That's $3 a year, man. I don't know what that converts to. You know, if I don't want to do that. Actually, let me not even do that. Okay, boom. This little dollartimes.com inflation website. $3.1925. $3.1925 is $44.56 in 2020. So about $50 a year is the tax. All right, that's accounted for inflation, whatever. And this tax was not to be a burden on everybody. You know what I mean? $50 a year is not really a burden. You know what I mean? If you saving $3 a month, that's not. You can get that. We can get that. I feel humbly. You know what I mean? But this is what's important about this. It says this per capita tax, and this means per capita is for everybody, Grand governors, didn't matter high or low, everybody got to pay this tax, same flat tax for everybody. And it says, the governor or officer in charge of each temple will cause a report to be rendered to the Supreme Grand Business Manager of the Supreme Grand Council. So the officers, the people, the heads of these temples are supposed to submit a report, information about who's paying the dues, the information to the Supreme Grand Business Manager. And this person is of the Supreme Grand Council. Now, this tax, which was voted on unanimously, Noble Drew Ali said, it shall not be ignored, so we're supposed to be paying this tax per month. Where are we paying it to? The Grand Treasurer is responsible for all finances. So the heads of the temples are supposed to be putting this report to the Supreme Grand Business Manager, who's of the Supreme Grand Council. The Grand Treasurer is definitely working with the Supreme Grand Council because they have to know about all of the finances, including the taxes. So the Supreme Grand Council is dealing with the Supreme Grand Business Manager and the Grand Treasurer. That's why the Supreme Grand Council is so important. And why I keep asking people, I keep urging people, we need to deal with the Supreme Grand Council issue. Don't take my opinion on it. Just check it out and look around. See who else is addressing this issue. Don't believe what I'm saying. I'm not trying to make an argument. I'm not trying to prove that I know more. I'm simply reading the information and saying this is what we're supposed to be following. And this is what we're not doing. That's why the title is what it is. The Moors are not a nation, ... yet. Because we ain't running it the way we need to yet, but we going to get there. That's the thing. We going to get there. Oh, you thought, I thought, you thought this was something else, huh? No, we going to get there. Trust and believe. We going to get right. You know what I mean? We got to just hold ourselves accountable. Stop trying to judge other people. Stop trying to talk down on other people. Stop trying to criticize the Nation of Islam, for example, and realize that they have the administrative aspect down to a science. Or maybe we should humble ourselves and work with those brothers and sisters and learn how to operate and self-govern. It's a thought. No, especially when you do the knowledge and the understanding and the history, you realize that many Moorish Americans, members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, moved into the Nation of Islam after Noble Drew Ali passed. Just a fact of history. So maybe we shouldn't look at the Nation of Islam as something other. And then we could apply that same kind of science to all sorts of things. For example, the United States of America, they have a treasury. They have a treasurer. Maybe we could look and see how they run and operate things. Look on their website, see what kind of information they have available to the public, so we know what kind of information we need to have available. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness. My goodness. Let's see what we got going on. Let's see what we got. Oh, man, my fault. There's a couple things in here. Mullah Marco, Islam More, I found a source that can connect you with the Supreme Grand Council. Mullah Marco, I've had several people tell me this. You know, I've had people hit me on the DM, hit me in a message. Hey, man, if you call this number and talk to this person, they'll tell you everything you need to know about the Supreme Grand Council. You just got to. Humbly, no thank you. But what you can do is ask the people in the shadows to just come on out. Come on out. You know what I mean? There's no reason to be hidden. This is not some secret organization. Drew Ali came to take the covers off that thing. You know what I mean? Oh man, Drew Ali, man. Talk about it, man. I seen a question. C Mac. Peace More. How did you become a Moor? Man, I answered the question. I don't wanna I don't wanna seem like I'm not answering the question, but 1 second for you. Oh well, that's not what it was actually. It's like, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, I knew I wasn't tripping. Boom. So bam. That's the link for you, C Mac, where I break down it further. But simply put, we didn't become Moors. It's not something that you join and become. We're born Moors. You know what I mean? The same way we was born, quote unquote, black. It's just that black was the label that was put on us. We was always Moors. We just didn't realize it. Some of us. C Mac, I would say you've been a Moor since you've been born, my man. You know what I mean? Now, if you was born in 99, saying you 46, I don't know if the math quite add up, but you feel me? I feel you, though. I feel you. I'm not a Moor on paper, but that's who I identify with. Um, that's the thing. The paper, the idea of uh, just an ID, identification, a birth certificate, any sort of documentation of who you are is only additional. It's supplemental to, attest or to affirm you are who you are. But you are who you are because that's who you are. You know what I mean? And can't nobody change that. In fact, bringing it all the way back, bringing it all the way back. One time for you, Heru Dollar. One time for you. I appreciate that. In fact, chapter 47, line 11, or line 10, let me bring that back. What your ancient forefathers were, you are today without doubt or contradiction. There is no one who is able to change man from the descendant nature of his forefathers unless his power extends beyond the universal creator, Allah himself. Meaning, can't nobody, even though they hit us with the okey doke, you know what I mean? They hit us with the razzle dazzle, they bamboozled us, they hoodwinked us, you know what I mean? They really did get us. Got to admit, hey man, you got us on that one. For a good little while, you got us. But we are who we are. They can't change that. And this don't change it either. You know what I mean? Whether I'm wearing the fez or not, that don't change it. So understand that too. So you don't get it misconstrued. Um, yeah. What are your thoughts on CM Bay Constitution and the corrupt of the temples back in the day, Blue Genesis? My thoughts is whether it's CM Bay, whether it's this group, in 2020 that broke off and trying to do their thing, whether it's that group back in 2010, it was all of these splinter groups, everybody, we got to get back to what Noble Drew Ali said. I know some of them may have meant well, valiant effort, much respect, but how can I explain this? Sports. I love analogies in sports. You playing basketball, right? You get the rebound out the hustle, and you dribble down the court, right? Your teammate screaming at you, hey! But you in the zone, you spinning, you go up, whoo, you score. Yeah, I scored. But you shot it in the wrong hoop. Great effort. A beautiful spin move. You killed him. The layup was, oh, it was beautiful. But you shot it in the wrong hoop, though. And ultimately, bringing it back to the different efforts, as amazing, as wonderful as, you know, great as they all are, and also as flawed as some of them all are, you know, or the common flaw is that we ain't in line with what Noble Drew Ali said and taught. And that's really like, you know, it's yeah, I can get into the complex nuances of certain things and, you know, the benefits and da 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 da, but in the essence of it, when you get to the root, you know what I mean, the center of it all, we gotta follow Noble Drew Ali. And I feel like, in my opinion, from my experience, that's just something, even as Moorish Americans, even as Moors that know who we are, some of us have the ego problem with getting in line. We're just accepting, like, I gotta follow this dude. Nah, I want, cause I'm a god. You know what I mean? I could do what I want to do. I mean, I feel you, and you can do what you want to do. But Noble Drew Ali is the universal prophet, though. It just, hey, man, you just gotta recognize what it is, man. LeBron James, man. It is what it is, man. You can feel it however you want to feel about him. You can talk about his hair, blah, blah, blah. LeBron James is LeBron James. You know what I mean? Michael Jackson is Michael Jackson. You can say, oh, blah, blah, blah. He's Michael Jackson. You understand? Go listen to Man in the Mirror. Michael Jackson. And Noble Drew Ali is the man. We supposed to be following the leader. That's how I feel about him. What happened? Oh, what happened to the Moorish American flag? Um, that's up there just to show love to my son. We watched that. If you know about it, you know about it. If you don't know, man, you need to get into it. But it has nothing to do with it has nothing to do with this video. Or, you know what I mean, it's not that I'm against the flag and nothing like that. Yeah. um, any other questions? Actually, before I any other questions, in terms of the perspective of what I put forth, because I don't want to, you know, I know the title, it was to get people reeled in and, you know what I mean, be a little controversial. But truthfully, the idea that Moors are not a nation, that's based off of what Noble Drew Ali said, that we must maintain a grand treasure, and until we have that, we are nothing. Says when we have that, we are a nation. Until we have that, we are nothing. This is what Noble Drew Ali said, according to the Moorish literature. My position is, it's very clear we don't have this and maintaining this. And we can see this because this grand treasurer will be connected the same way the Supreme Grand Business Manager will be connected to the Supreme Grand Council. And as you can see, look for yourself. Don't believe me. Do you? Go on YouTube, go on a search, look up Moors Supreme Grand Council. Just look up the videos and see who's speaking on it. It's not there. It's not maintaining. It's not functioning properly. That doesn't mean that we don't have a nationality. We are Moorish Americans. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it. Relax. You gotta relax. But we gotta get right though. We can't ignore what Noble Drew Ali said because he's a prophet, a universal prophet, but sent specifically for us. So somebody specifically sent for us is telling us something specifically to do, and we ignoring it. And then we wonder why things are the way that it is right now. Why is disunity? Why is all the suffering, the confusion, the stagnation? Because we trying to follow everybody else instead of following Noble Ali. Blue Genesis. What do you think the remedy should be for the people who are aware of the current issue with black status in the United States, for the people who want to stop contributing to the globalization? Man, that's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know at the moment. You know, I would think I feel something that I do. The most basic thing I do is I just don't call people black or white. And other people notice that. You don't have to get on your Moorish, soapbox. You know what I mean? You ain't got your Moorish herbal box or whatever. You know what I mean? You ain't gotta do it that way. But I simply, when we're speaking, I just say European. And if it's somebody, speaking about somebody that's black, if I don't feel like saying Moorish, I just say, oh, the brother or the sister or melanated. You know what I mean? Not to get into it. But I notice, and people will say, hey, bro, why do you say European? Boom, there go the open. Why don't you say black? Boom, there's the open. I ain't got to force it on people. I just simply go about it this way. That's something just in everyday conversation I say that you could do. It's small, but it's a big thing. I mean, that's the one thing that I was thinking of off the top of my head. If we had proper counsel, there would be no need to rely. Right. If our state, if our Morris Science Temple of America was operating the way it's supposed to, we'd be all right. Then it wouldn't matter where you at. You know what I mean? Because you would have a temple access in whatever region or whatever territory you're at, because they're all supposed to be operating in the same fashion, not however people want to do in multiple Supreme Grand Sheiks and, made up type. It's a lot of confusion. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff going on that's not supposed to be going on. And the way we correct that is the Supreme Grand Council. That's why literally, if you just type in Supreme Grand Council into the search bar, you'll see for yourself. And it's frustrating. It's like my son, he asked me, what does this word mean? What does that word mean? And my answer is always the same. Grab the dictionary, let's look it up. Oh, Dad, can I just get on the computer? Grab the dictionary, let's look it up. And then he was having trouble spelling seller yesterday. He was reading a book and he was talking about seller. Dad, it's not in here. I need to look it up I said, it's in the book. And it didn't change. So when I come over there and show you, I said the process is the same. Start with the first 3 letters and then move on from there and you'll find it. And then I showed him and I said, you start with the first 3 letters. There it is. We need to start with Noble Drew Ali. And there it is. It's really that simple. Noble Drew Ali, the Supreme Grand Council. It's what he said. We need to have it for governing ourselves, for the governing aspect of this Moorish Science Temple of America. That is literally the most integral component to it. And it's not operating properly, which is why it is what it is right now. which is why you got people trying to proclaim their nationality on social media. That doesn't make sense. Take us out of it. Let's look around the globe. What other people is doing that? They got to resort to going to Facebook to post their government documents. Come on, y'all. That don't make sense. We supposed to be self-governing. So we should have a system within ourselves. Where is it? How does it work? It should be for everyone to see. It should be across the board. Very simple. We got to address it. Just keeping it real, man. So do we have any other questions? I think that's all I have for today. And here's the other thing. The comment section is open. Right now it's open. I'm here live. So any scholars that are saying I'm incorrect, anything I've said incorrect, is my understanding of a treasurer incorrect? Supreme Grand Council, am I making this up? Is it not in the Moorish literature? Did Noble Drew Ali not set this up? If I'm lying, let me know. If I'm incorrect, if I'm inaccurate, let me know. I got no problem correcting myself. But I ask you, watching, just look around. Look around. See who's silent. See who's silent. Who's not addressing this issue. You claim to be a scholar. Claim to be a follower of Noble Drew Ali. Honoring and respecting Noble Drew Ali, a prophet. I appreciate everybody. A seer, yes, I appreciate his works. Ultimately, regardless who it is, myself included, all of our efforts it's not that it's not valuable, but we are wasting our energy when we are not doing what Noble Drew Ali told us to do. And people can try to feel how they want to feel about following this person and following the teachings. But the evidence is clear. Look at us. All this knowledge, all of these scholars, and look at us. I love Taj. Amazing information. He cannot do it all himself. As amazing as Taj is, look at where we are still. He said very clearly, he got ran out of the temple. So he had to just, make his way, do his thing. I'm not running, I'm not afraid. I'm not even here in no aggressive manner. That's why it's always love. Even with the attack, it's still love. We got to get right, though. Don't get mad at me. Please don't. I'm just a servant. I'm here passing the word. This is what it says. I'm just reading the information. I understand how to read and comprehend, and I have a gift of being able to relate things in a simple way. I ain't trying to fool you. I'm not trying to trick you. You don't need to pay me. You ain't need to go GoFundMe. No Cash App. I don't need you to give me the membership. Why? I don't want to take nobody money or nothing, because I don't even know who to pay. If I start the temple, All right, where are we sending the money to? That's why we can't do nothing right now. Because that central piece. Hayrud Dollar. Yes, I would say a conference is needed. I agree. I agree. 1,000%. 1,000%. I literally, I'm not even gonna say. There's a person that, you know, there's a notable person. Let me say it that way. That acknowledged this Supreme Grand Council issue and how important it was several years ago. Right? Send me an email. This person said we just need to pick a Supreme Grand Council and get it going right now. I said, whoa, slow down. First, we need to notify everyone of what the Supreme Grand Council is, what the duties are, what the officials, what this operating, so that everyone has an understanding first. Then that conference to elect the people for the Supreme Grand Council. And then we can operate. So I'm with you 1,000%. Now this other person decide to go on and create their own movement, and I don't even need to go any further. My focus is on what Noble Dry Lee is teaching. And Noble Dry Lee, we have to get the Supreme Grand Council correct. We have to. Now we should. Now that's a good idea. Now we'll come back to it later, but first we gotta, no, we have, this is priority. A1, top of the list. Boom, right at the top. Oh, boy. Blue Genesis. I don't think that it's a majority of people don't agree with Noble Dry Lee. I think it's the way the temple is operating in today is turning people away. The lack of operation. I agree. I agree. I agree. 1,000%. And the thing is, it's unfair. It's, that's what's frustrating is that I understand that perspective of being turned away by something because it looks by the perception of it. And it's unfair because if you just went on that, they're missing out on so much. But I understand why it's easy to turn away from something like this off of the perception and how it's running. It's like, man, I just came out of the church. I just came out of, this movement. Or I just came out of, atheism, and oh man, I'm not trying to, this ain't the answer. If you just from the outside looking in, if you don't have a lot of information and done a lot of studying to understand what's really going on, if you just search up on the surface, it's like you see Moors getting arrested, and tax fraud and this, and it's like, I'm not trying to get in that. It looks like whatever it looks like. And you can't fault the people on the outside for having that perception because ultimately it's on us. We got to conduct ourselves properly. We got to get ourselves properly. All right. And here we have it. Let me just go ahead and do this right here. Boop. Thank you. Yes. Man, and on that note, because you said even the spiritual side of the prophet is open. It allows any belief of the Kabbalah fits into the structure. The very last line, I grabbed, so you're not confused. I have two Qurans, but it's the same book. But the very last, the line of the Quran, it says, "We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourselves with the families of nations. We honor all the true and divine prophets." We honor all the true and divine prophets. Matter of fact, let me close with that. Thank you for that, actually. Because it's very important that we realize that this isn't some competition, and it isn't one prophet versus another prophet. Here we go. This is back to the Moorish literature. It's called Masterpiece of Religious Literature: Secrets of Other Creeds Revealed. One second. So this is a masterpiece of religious literature. The Prophet Noble Jali has spent many hours preparing the latest edition of the Quran, which will be a masterpiece of religious literature. To Americanize the Oriental idea of Islam involves many changes that are more or less negative to the main purpose of the Islamic religion. Such changes are carefully considered with the idea to avoid changing the complexion of the original text. The philosophy of the ancient prophets, plural, is the main initiative in the compilation of the Quran. The philosophy of the ancient prophets, all right, is the main initiative in the compilation of the Quran. No thoughts of propaganda enter this work, as has been the case of many former religious works, such as the Bible and other books of creed. The sole purpose of the prophet in giving such a message to the world is to save fallen humanity. When a compiler attempts to inject propaganda into a work of this kind, there arises a need to cover the true text in order to prevent a clash with the truth and ideas involved in such propaganda. Former works of this kind have either hindered or helped nations proportionally to the adherence to the truth as to the original purpose of keeping the ignorant in such a state. It is hard to resist the temptation to use this medium for gain. Hence, many of the former treaties on works of this kind have been the means to foster ideas of the unscrupulous, wherein they desired to use religious influence for gain. So many people in the past have used works like this for their own unscrupulous, The many secrets known to the prophet that could be used for the salvation of the nation were either left out or colored to an extent that the meaning was made void. Such is not the case with this edition of the Quran. So in other books, when you're trying to get to the truth, sometimes they cover it in, mysterious language, or they color it over, they paint over the truth, so you can't really understand what needs to be understood. You know what I mean? But not with this work. And that's why it's so short and to the point. All the secrets of the ages known to man are put into this work. The secrets known only to the Magi are here revealed. The reading of the stars, the interpretation of marriage relations, the understanding of the span of life, and other such as has been kept from the Occidental world are in this book boldly brought out. Hello, here you go. The Quran, Americanized as it will be, can be bought in a few weeks. It will be sent to all governors of the Moorish Science Temples of America by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. So, this is the real deal. There's a lot of truth in this thing. A lot of truth in this thing. You got to dig deep, man. The jewels is here. Um, Supreme Grand Council, man. We got to get right. Got to get the Grand Treasurer right. The Supreme Grand Business Manager, you know. And until we get that right, we not operating as a real nation. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. And we got to follow Noble Drew Ali because he's a real deal prophet, universal prophet. The ancient prophets, the philosophies, it's up in here. And see, he was saying, you know, the people that try to misuse lessons like this, they try to hide where the original stuff is coming from. But here, first page, what does it say? It says, the reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world. And when the time appointed by Allah, they loosened the keys and freed the secrets. So, if these lessons were in the hands of Muslims in India, Egypt, and Palestine, that's giving you a source to where this information is coming. It's not being hidden. And it's breaking down what was going on. It had to be kept back for a little bit of time. And now the time appointed, Allah loosened the keys, and here we have it. It's not no plagiarism. It's no propaganda. He not trying to use this religion to control people. Nah, this is to govern ourselves. True religion is a way of life. That's what religion is really about. It's the laws and the principles to govern your life, the way to live. And some people may choose this way of life, or some people may choose that way of life. Noble Drew Ali told us the way of life of our ancient forefathers and foremothers is Islamism. This is what it is. Now you can take it, or you can leave it alone. That's all I got today. Yeah. I appreciate you tapping in. If you have any questions, if I was unclear about something, if you say, nah, I disagree because Rami, you said such and such and such, see me in the comments. I'll be there with the love. Got to be there with the love. You know what I mean? Or you can email me, iamhhtemple@gmail.com, iamhhtemple@gmail.com. Yeah, most importantly, study Noble Drew Ali. Study the teachings. Let's get back on the path. Let's get back right. Challenge our leaders. Challenge our teachers. Let's get focused. What is the priority issue for our nation? What do we need to be addressing first and foremost? Supreme Grand Council. That's how we can sort out all the other issues. Finance, how to proclaim, IDs, all of that. All of that through that Supreme Grand Council. Don't believe me, though. Don't believe me. That's the key. Study for yourself so you know for yourself. All right. Peace and love.